How's it going, everybody? Well, I'd like to cover a couple subjects today. Really, just one subject, which is self-image or worthiness. The worthiness of an individual, whether or not we consider ourselves worthy. I'll try to do this without the crazy dogs barking too much next door. Uh, this is somewhat in response to Logic Only Zone, his video the other day he did about knowing that you're worth it, that you're worthwhile as a human, that you shouldn't have to have anyone tell you that you are worthy just like you are. And that brought up some ideas. I left a comment saying that to a degree this is true. However, sometimes the negatives that we see in our life, or rather the things that we look down on ourselves because of, are the very things that motivate us to change. I guess the key is being able to observe those things and acknowledge them. Often when a person feels bad about themselves, they don't realize why they feel bad. They may think it's because they're not making enough money. They may think it's because they don't have enough friends. They may think it's because they don't have a job. They may think it for a lot of different reasons. And, I guess partially I'm making this because a friend of mine's having problems right now. And it's difficult to really pry into a person's life without feeling invasive. So I can only speculate on what goes on in his life. But I guess this is kind of a private matter of his, but his wife left a posting on Facebook today that said, a woman cannot change a man. A man should want to change for a woman. Something to that effect. And when I saw it, I thought, in the right context, that could be a great message. I totally agree. But considering what I think's going on in my friend's life with him and his wife, I believe that was kind of a kick in the ass to him. And I could be totally wrong. But, if you're married and you're posting something about men changing for you, and you're having marriage issues, then I can see that being a problem. Now, I won't get into the details of this, but my friend's problem is that he has a low self-esteem because he doesn't have a job right now. And like me, he went through an epic episode of some pain and issues. He's been to the doctor for I believe it's his back. He probably has something similar to what I have. I have sciatic pain because of out-of-line spine, if you will. It's not necessarily a slip disc or anything. There's nothing I can really do about it. I have no insurance. I can't go get an operation, and I wouldn't want to, but one day I was at work and I just grabbed my tools and said, I'm leaving. And my boss, I said, I can't do this anymore. And he asked if I'd be back in a few weeks. I said, I don't think I'll ever be back. And I haven't been back since. And it's been about 2 years, year and a half. And since then I've been struggling to try to get myself back on my feet. And he's been in the same situation. He was a truck driver for a while, and he can't sit anymore because of his pain. We both have similar problems, and as men, we're expected to perform what men are supposed to do, which is to bring home the bacon. Now, that's only if you believe in society's standards, and it's really a double standard, but it's more than that. It's a ridiculous standard. See, my wife and I'm very fortunate to have such an awesome, awesome wife. I mean, I don't talk about her on videos because I like to, I guess maybe it's just because I have nothing to complain about, and therefore maybe I take things for granted sometimes. But my wife is very tolerant, accepting. She knows that I have my shortcomings, and she helps me work through them. And as a team, we work at it. And she'll tell me, hey, if you had, this could make just this much, then we could do this. And it's never about pointing the finger or telling me I'm lesser. And I don't think that his wife necessarily means to do that to him, or means to demean him. In her eyes, she's part of society, and she's doing her thing, getting credit, buying a house, getting a career, and all these things that we're told to do. And my friend is an artist at heart. He's got a nature that wants to flow. He can do great things if he wanted to. And he does make money. It's not that he's broke. It's not that he's lazy. And this is the thing. A lot of people that are artists aren't lazy. We're just not motivated to do things that a lot of people are. And it's very difficult to say, well, I can't go work some shitty minimum wage job because it's just not for me, when there are so many people who do that. But you have to understand that some people's minds can't get in the zone for things like that. I could not go work as a clerk at a supermarket If I was starving and dying, of course I could, but as an artist, I feel like I have other options. It's like I feel like I have more to contribute to this world than just standing behind a counter and saying thank you. But by saying that, one is determined to be egotistical, as if what, you think you're better than the rest of society, that you think you should have a better, an enjoyable job, and people will say things like, hey, work isn't supposed to be fun. And I would say, then what's the point in doing it? There's that. Of course, I don't mean that in the sense that if you don't like work, don't do it. I mean that if you're taking on a career, make sure it's something you're going to love, and at the very least, make sure it's something that makes people happy. It doesn't have to be a very important job. It just has to. You have to be able to associate with people and make people happy, and make sure that it's something that you're good at and you enjoy. But when we don't feel like we're fulfilling the obligations or carrying our weight, that's when our self-esteem sinks. That's when my self-esteem goes down. When I'm not making enough money, it's the only time when I feel like, besides, okay, well, there are other times, like if I'm not taking care of something I need to do. There are certain responsibilities, such as things I could be doing. And these things can pile up. Like behind the camera right now, there's a big stack of buckets and stuff, and they're pretty well organized, but of course I could move them to the shed and do other things. There are little things that nag at us in the back of our mind. And I was telling my buddy today, because I sent him a long Facebook message, because I didn't know how else to really reach out to him. I can't get through to him on the phone very well. And not 10 minutes after I left that message, he just showed up randomly here. And so we talked for a little while, and I was able to give him my input, face to face, thank goodness, because I really want to see him do well. And I want to see all my friends do well. And I know life's tough, but I also know that much of the outlook we have on ourselves comes from what other people tell us. And this is really kind of the crux of my argument here against, trying to force people to do things by making them feel lesser. So I'm going to finish this video now because the lawnmower's going and it'll be too noisy. Just try to remember that other people are trying their best, and if you want to give people the incentive to do better, you have to show them why they want to do better and give them a reason to want to make, and when it comes to money, when you're a person like me and him, which we're not interested in money, it makes it very difficult to acquire it if you don't want it, and he said earlier, he said it's like when you tell people, well, I don't need a lot of money, they say, oh, you're just saying that because you don't have a lot. And that is kind of that catch-22. People who say, well, you're just saying that it's better to be poor because you're poor. But I'll tell you, I've had times when I've made a lot of money and times when I haven't, and I'm much happier just making enough to survive. And beyond that, I just want to be able to enjoy my life. So that means seeing myself for who I truly am, which means being honest with my shortcomings and faults, but not letting them get the better of me to where I hate myself over it. It's just use it as a boost to do something greater. So have a good day, everybody.